Okay, here we are. We are about to start a recording. I want to take that away. So, what was I going to say? Cordially welcome to class, or welcome to a meeting with Star Asker or me, Anders Asker. I am recording this on Wednesday, the 22nd of April. We are doing a recording on Uranus ingress to Gemini. And I wanted to just first briefly mention how, as Uranus, he's on a threshold now, entering Gemini for the first time in some 84 years. He's entering um, Gemini. Or last time was in 1941 to 1949. And as he's standing here on the threshold or entering it's on the 26th of April, Universal Time. Um, it can be on the 25th in other parts of the world, but it's just after midnight uh, at Greenwich on the 26th of April. And as he does that, as he enters Gemini, we will all notice how things will switch into a higher gear. Uh, there's been an enormous backing by Pluto's entrance to Aquarius late November 2024 and Neptune's entry into Aries, both in 25 and now lastly when was that? End of January in 26. And also Saturn there, but especially Pluto, Neptune, and now Uranus on Sunday coming into Gemini. These planets are forming uh, sextiles and trines to each other, meaning that they are all in an area of the zodiac that covers 120 degrees of the circle, a third of the circle, which is a very harmonizing number. And the effect that this will have with finally Uranus entering is like opening a dam of sorts, a dam of information. It's Uranus did enter Gemini last year on my birthday, actually, the 7th of July. He entered Gemini and spent 4 whole months in the sign as he was retrograding back into Taurus until now. He's been in Taurus in the last degrees of Taurus. And he has spent the last 7 to 8 years in the sign of Taurus. Um, and that has, of course, affected the world economy. Taurus is very much about uh, banking and money, resources, the earth, food supplies, etc., is definitely ruled by Venus and Taurus. And the thing is that Venus is in both instances, both last year and now, Venus is just also entering before into Gemini. So she's like holding hands with Uranus. And maybe you know the story that Uranus is the father of Venus, or Aphrodite, as is her name in Greek, and she was his last child, because as the story goes, Gaia, the partner, the wife, the mother, Earth, was so fed up with Uranus' procreative activities as he was creating all kinds of creatures all the time, cyclops and sirens and whatnot. So finally, she asked her son Saturn slash Cronus to put an end to it, which he did. He he severed the testicles of his father and threw them into the ocean, and out of the foam rises Venus in all her splendor. So that's the last child of Uranus, and she is now leading him into Gemini for the second time, but this time he will stay. He will spend a whole period of 7 years until 2033 before he enters Cancer. So this we're going into a time where um, communication um, is going to really come into the forefront. I also wanted to mention that uh, there is a tension between the fixed signs. Uranus rules Aquarius, is the modern ruler of the sign of Aquarius, so he's very connected to that sign of science, of rebellion, of brotherhood, freedom, equality. You know, the words from the French Revolution, uh, which was a very Uranian time. That was the time when he was discovered back in 1781. And the fixed signs squaring each other, the fixed signs, Aquarius, Taurus, uh, Leo, Scorpio, uh, create tension. The squared creates tension, and of the in these past 7 years, 8 years, there has been a lot of issues concerning food, farming, also technical stuff that needed for this. And yeah, maybe you've heard about all these protests around the world by farmers that has been kind of silenced in the media, but still has been very, very felt by the populations in those countries, like France or Ireland or UK or US, Canada, wherever. There's been a lot of protests. Um, so what will happen now as I have to close this shade. What will happen now as Uranus enters Gemini, uh, the air element, there will be much more harmony to Pluto that entered Aquarius, as I mentioned, uh, and and also to Neptune that has entered Aries, along with Saturn. So there will be a new collaboration with these planets, and just to describe uh, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the messenger. It's an air element, just like Aquarius and Libra, and it's focused on communication, on information, on siblings, neighbors, understanding, language. All kinds of languages are going to come into the view of people, like light language or old ancient tongues that haven't been spoken that will resurface, new languages that will develop. And Gemini is a kind of socially refined sign, or leaving, if you if you want, leaving the wild for the civilized world is kind of one of the attributes of Gemini. It's the scholar, it's the student. It has to do with learning. So Uranus in itself being a symbol of the higher mind or the intuition, the higher octave of Mercury, will of course really feel good in this mutable air sign, a movable air sign, and it's quite a stark contrast to the former sign, which is fixed Earth of Taurus. So there will be uh, a speed up of communications, of transportation, of uh, speech. Um, what is also very interesting is that as Uranus enters Gemini, he's also received by Sedna, a dwarf planet or a trans-Neptunian object or a scattered disk object. She is uh, object that is very, very, very far out in our solar system. So far that she has an orbit of 11,460 years, 416 years. And she, 11,416 years. She is the deep sea goddess of the Inuits. And I will not go into her story, into her myth right now. It's very tempting, but her story is a story of utter transformation and metamorphosis or metamorphose. Uh, it's also a story connected to the patriarchy and its abuse of the feminine principle over many, many thousands of years. But since Sedna has such an enormous orbit, long orbit, last time she was at this place in the beginning of Gemini, if you go back, if we go back 11,416 years in time, we go back to the age of Leo. And the ages are depending on what system you use or what thought or what your thoughts are on this, the great year is either 24,000 years long, according to the new research on the subject. That's what I'm leaning towards. But the old number was 25,800 years for the great year, for all the 12 ages, where one age is approximately 2,000 years or longer, depending on what standpoint you use. But in my view, uh, it is uh, probably right with the assumption that the precession of the equinoxes is a 24,000 year round, or otherwise time is changing in speed. That can also be uh, a factor here, that time has speeded up of late. It definitely has speeded up during my lifetime. I mean, when I grew up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, time was so much slower. Maybe you remember too. Um, uh, so Sedna is welcoming Uranus into Gemini, and she's holding memories of the age of Leo. The age of Leo, as well as the age of Aquarius, those two ages are the only time that our solar system is in the galactic day or the photon belt, as it's called. If you go to research done by especially Barbara Handclough. And um, the last time we were in the age of Leo was the fall of Atlantis. In the other ages, we are in what is called the galactic night, and this is in connection to the Pleiades. Many tell about the Pleiades, the seven sisters that have been up until recently in the star sign of Taurus, or in that part of the sky where Taurus is. Uh, and the story goes, or what we've been told is that uh, our solar system is like an eighth star in that in the Pleiades at the very bottom, and it's like an axis that wobbles or circles out. So most of the time, our solar system is going through something called the galactic night. Only in the age of Aquarius and the age of Leo are we in the galactic day, where Alcyon, the top star, and the uh, other stars below in Pleiades, they are always in the galactic day, and that there is an exchange of experienced information between Pleiadians and, may I say, Earthlings. I think it might be not an adequate description, but there is an exchange between these two nations uh, due to learning and sharing and also helping. I mean, there has been a great help for us on the way by the Pleiadians. If you know the research about the Mayan calendar, many different researchers have all come to the conclusion that the Mayan calendar was like a compass for humanity to take us through a lot of hardships and violent, very violent time on the planet, and that the end date of the Mayan calendar, which is also disputed, but let's make it simple and just say 2012, 12, 12 was the end date, or if you want to say 21st of December 2012, was the end date of the Mayan calendar, and simultaneously the entrance into the age of Aquarius. And that's our connection to now we are again in the galactic day, and in when we are in the galactic day, we do evolve rapidly, and we take giant leaps of faith, I was going to say, but really giant steps in our evolution. There's so many channels on the earth that are talking about this now. uh, Also, you have it in the human design system, right? So um, Alcyon is now on 0 degrees 21 minutes in Gemini. So she's also receiving Uranus as he comes in to the sign. And right now, there are four of the seven sisters are in Gemini. The last three will enter um, in the coming years. The last one to enter is Electra in 2037. So I wanted to show you uh, so I'm going to share the screen, and I want to show you what is it I want to show you? I want to show you this. um, the chart for the entrance. Yes, can I make that bigger? Yes, I can. So here you see Gemini ingress of Uranus. In this chart is done in Greenwich, England, and that's a very good place to use for looking at worldly events because Greenwich is on the world axis, or the what am I saying? The Greenwich Mean Time is the zero meridian, and it's also on the latitude 51 north 29 minutes, which is very close to an exact seventh. If you divide the circle in seven, it's very close to that exact number. So it's kind of mystical too to use Greenwich as a place to do draw charts for the whole world, for the globe. And what are we seeing now in this uh, picture? I must oh, sorry about that. Uh, we are seeing that the moon is in Leo, squaring Uranus. As here, Uranus is on 2959, just about 2959, about to enter Gemini. And it is so, it's so amazing or happy or exciting that the moon, apropos the age of Leo, the moon is in the anaretic degree, very last degree of Leo, as Uranus enters Gemini, reminding us of that time when Atlantis fell, when it went under. And if you know your history, or if you know that history, the fall of Atlantis had to do with greed and power grabbing, right? So that kind of started in that age. Why can I? Oh, sorry. No, I can't do it right. Sorry. Uh, it started in that age, and that was the reason for the fall. Now we are in a very, very similar spot. With the technique that they had then, we have very similar, reached a very high level of uh, technique, knowledge. Um, and it's history is playing out again the same way, that there is such a twisted situation on the planet. Uh, we are living in what are we living in, a matrix or in a Truman show, or I mean, you go figure it out yourself, but that we've been lied to is of no doubt. And more and more people are starting to wake up and question what we've been told, what we've been taught. So we are now at a fork in the road, similar to that one when if you go back to 11,000 plus years in time. And the moon squaring Uranus, that's the fourth harmonic. A square is a very head-on aspect. It creates tension, uh, creates action, can create anxiety, to energies that wants to manifest, and often the faster one, in this case the moon in Leo, get frustrated with the Uranus in Gemini, or in end of Taurus, beginning of Gemini, uh, because it can't get its way. It can't get its way. So they have to find ways to manifest the power and do something constructive with the energy. The thing with this chart, though, with the Gemini ingress of Uranus, is that opposing Uranus, and I can't show this with the marker. Well, maybe I can do it another way. If I go and share, if I go and share this, no, sorry, Taurus. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, we're getting close. Here it is. I hope that you're seeing this correctly. So now I can show you with the marker. The Leo moon squaring Uranus. Uranus is opposing a cubewano, a slow object, way out, trans-Neptunian object, has an orbit of, I think it's 295 years or something like that. Uh, and it's on 29:52 minutes in Scorpio, and the moon is on 29:52 minutes Leo. This is like a cosmic joke, because Deucalion is the counterpart of Noah. He's the one who foresees um, the flood, the deluge, and he's also the son of Prometheus. And if you know Prometheus, the Titan, that uh, that pissed off the gods by giving fire to humanity, he's often he's very much an interpretation of Uranus. The way we interpret Uranus is very uh, uh, much um, linked to Prometheus. It's almost that like they are interchangeable. Not totally, but definitely the way we interpret uh, Uranus in astrology has been very much flavored by the um, concepts linked to Prometheus, who stole the fire from the gods and gave it to the humans, and therefore he was punished, chained to a rock in Caucasus mountains, a, a repetition of vultures picking out his liver and spleen every day, started over again. And there you had the story of Chiron, the wounded healer, and that, and how they swapped places, and Chiron had compassion and for Prometheus. So it's so interesting that this pattern here, with the exactness of the moon, the Leo moon, proud, um, heart-centered energy in a tense aspect to this Noah character who foresees the flood. or foresees the deluge for the catastrophe, and thereby saved himself. And I forget, there were two more in the myth, uh, that saved themselves on the ship. And um, so Deucalion also has natural magical ability, and the opposition to Uranus, which is such a um, creative, inventive um, principle, going into Gemini, the house of Mercury, the magician. You can see that there is a lot of creativity and intuitive power, inventive power, um, futuristic energy coming into play here. Um, Aquarius, where Pluto is, trining Uranus, trining Sedna, uh, and Alcyon, the top star and the seventh sister of the Pleiades. Uh, of course, this just gives more power to this picture. Aviation, bridges, communication between people, communication to people from a place of brotherhood, freedom, equality. Yes, humanity is surely at a fork of the road, and Leo, ruled by the sun, the heart, um, the circulation of the blood is connected to Aquarius. The circulation of the heart's essence is connected to Aquarius, and these two signs, opposing signs, they mirror each other. Um, So we will always have a lot of echoing from Leo in the coming age, or in the age that we're actually in since 2012, 12, 12. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I also want to give you more in this picture with the T-square. um, you also have on the opposite side here in at the end of Aquarius and the beginning of Pisces, you have three deities, or uh, Chariclo is the a centaur, the wife of Chiron, an amazing, uh, amazing centaur. Is she's also very, very creative potential power, and had a lot of healing effects on Chiron, the wounded healer. He was healed by her presence in his life. And then we have Diana, another moon goddess, the huntress, Artemis is the Greek counterpart. And she's the sister of Apollon, so very very, very powerful uh, goddess, and also Astrea, the star maiden. Which is likened to a bodhisattva. She stayed. She was the one who the last of the goddess and or the gods or the goddesses that stayed on the planet, on Earth, to help humanity, to help each and every one, uh, like a bodhisattva, helping people to reach humans to reach enlightenment. So that's uh, that's also they're not exact in the degrees like Uranus, Deucalion, and the Moon, but still, then we have a grand square um, on the thresholds of the mutable signs or fixed to mutable. So so interesting. So what this is saying is that we are we are on the way, and we also have had a number of very strong charged kicks into this moment. If you look back just over 2026, we had that amazing solar eclipse on the 29th degree of Aquarius on February 28th, which was the Chinese New Year and the release of the fire horse, which we haven't had since 1966. The fire horse is another symbol of sovereignty, of freedom, of charging forth. Uh, and then on February 20th, sorry, that was February 17th, we had the new moon, the solar eclipse, and on February 20th, we had the Saturn Neptune conjunction on 0 degrees Aries, which is so extraordinary. It hasn't happened for over 6,000 years. And then just recently, and I mean, Saturn Neptune, their cycle is about 36, 37 years long, but it hasn't happened on the world axis. 0 degrees Aries is the world axis, somewhere down there, right? And it, it's it's really throwing things into the light. It's a beginning, it's a new start, it's a birth. And then on the last new moon, on the 17th of April, and the days up until that date, the 15th of April, we had Sun conjunct Aries. And on the 16th of April, we had the Sun in conjunction with Chiron. Aries is the sister of Mars. She's the goddess of discord and strife, but more, she's the goddess of absolute truth. She's relentless. She's uncompromising. She just wants the truth and wants justice in a way. She has a very strong connection to Libra and Venus, but she's not as nice as Venus is. No, she's pretty tough energy, and she's been in Aries since 1924, I think she entered Aries, and she sticks in Aries until 2047. So she will still spend a lot of years in that sign. Uh, but the contacts that we've had, I mean, Chiron and Aries had their conjunction. I forget when it was, on the 19th of March, or am I remembering? But it's that energy won't come back. Chiron will not meet Aries again for another 50 years. So there's a lot of healing collectively going on, going really deep into the wounds of humanity. And Chiron opens the wound. You have to open, you have to air the wound. You have to cleanse it, right? To start the proper healing process, the therapy. And Zedna, or I mean, sorry, Eris, she is not afraid to look at things, because that's what she does. She scrutinizes injustices, and if things are not right, she will throw in that golden apple and bring the looming conflict into the open, which started the Trojan War in the Hellenistic history. But today, uh, I don't think she's starting a war as much as she is just throwing in that apple, allowing humanity to see these injustices all over the planet, especially in houses of power, and how we've been allowing this to happen again and again and again for many millennia. We've been allowing it to happen. So, uh, that new moon with a lineup in Aries with six planets in Aries hasn't happened since 1821, what I've heard. And then Chiron, Aries, Manwe, if you know Tolkien or Silmarillion, you can read up on Manwe. Salacia or Salacia is the wife of Neptune, the goddess or the mermaid connected to the shimmering light on the sea. Um, she's a beautiful archetype, has to do with automatic writing and really has a lot of Neptunian attributes, but is in a way more grounded or she's also a higher octave of Venus Mars energy, to quote Alan Clay of Dwarf Planet University. Um, and then Atlantis. She's also here in this picture. I will look at it more deeply. I shall mention Atlantis, which is also again cosmic humor. Okiroi is the daughter of Chiron and Chariklo, she who runs fast, she who moves fast. Um, I mean, how good does it get? And all these events, cosmic events, have taken us this far, and we will make it this time. We will not plunge into the maelstrom of the sea like we did way back in the age of Leo. Um, Despite Neptune's horses roaming the sea right now in that Aries energy of spiritualizing the brain, of manifesting your dreams with the Saturn Neptune energy. And despite that, there will still be a lot of controversy in our world because the truth is hurtful. If you've been held in a belief system, you don't want to admit to yourself that you've been fooled, that you've been duped, because you have put your trust in that Truman Show, in that matrix. Um, So we're going into a time that will definitely be fraught with agony and pain and a lot of uh, existential crisis among people that are starting to see that one and one doesn't equal two. It's like, hey, where's my energy seeping out? Where is it going? And humanity has been held in systems of control of the economy, of taxes, of money systems, um, of service to the state, to the crown, to the feudal system, or to the boss at the factory. Um, and there's been a denial of our divine feminine, our divine masculine, and this has been going on for millennia, for 6,000 years. So we have come to a point of it's like fly or die. That's the moment that we're in. And many people have chosen to die in these times. Many people have chosen to take um, the toxin or I mean to to be taught in the light, in the other realms, and also to sacrifice for us to be able to see the the anomalies or the all this that's been going on, medical scandal, or I mean, there's a lot that's coming up because, as I said, Uranus entering Gemini, received by Alcyon and Sedna and Venus, it's opening the dam. And we are flooded with information, with communication. And sooner or later, we have to trust what we see, especially what we see with our eyes closed in meditation. There's nothing like the techniques of yoga, breathwork, meditation, bushwalks, canoeing, listening to the birds. I mean, here in Scandinavia now, with the birds singing, it's really a lot of healing in tuning into that. So this is so much resonating with Uranus entering Gemini, with the backup of Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, and you know, all this time Jupiter has been in his sign of exaltation in Cancer ever since 2025, June 2025. He's been in the sign of the crab, where he's exalted, and he's been smiling all along this journey. He has kind of a leading role, actually, right now in the skies. He will later receive the train of planets coming his way, and he will also enter Leo on the 30th of June, where he will oppose Pluto, trine uh, Neptune, sextile Uranus, Sedna, and that's the symphony of the spheres, my dear ones. That's when you can really hear the symphony of the spheres. Freedom of speech. Love is the answer. And you can see it also fortified here by Mars with Mercury. Sorry, what happened there? Gotta go back to that. Oh, oh, okay. Sorry, lost that one. But I will sharing the screen. Am I sharing this one again? I hope I am. I hope I am. There's so much going on. But if not, so what? Uh, what I wanted to say was that Mars here is in conjunction with Atlantis. Oh, doing that again. Yes, can I take that away? Because I can't see the degree, but you can see the degree that it's very close connection from Mars to Atlantis in this chart. And Mercury, they are squaring Jupiter here in the seventh house. So Jupiter is descending, setting in the chart of this Uranus Gemini entrance. Well, I think I shall leave it by that. Leave it like that. It's been an amazing journey, and um, Yeah. I'll just have to get back to you with more updates. But I really wanted to broadcast this cosmic event because it's so it fills us with hope, with anticipation, and a higher love. You know, the sign of the twins is connected to the lovers in the great arcana, and Castor and Pollux, the twins in the stars in the sky, they are in the tropical zodiac. They are in Cancer, so that's where Jupiter is moving between the twins. So there's another connection, but that will be another episode, another time. So thank you for listening. God bless you all, and have a wonderful um, life. I'll see you later down the road. Namaste. Namaste.